luxury marquee on a property down that road. Authorities now have the place surrounded. They are going to breach into that property at some point to see if the suspect is perhaps inside the home or if he perhaps took off on foot. So they have the area surrounded. That's the situation they're working on right now. Exactly what they're finding, we don't yet know, because they did push us back because they said it was for our own safety. And I wanted to give you a better idea of where we are. Now, we're on this road. It's a rural road. This is where they found the vehicle, right? But the plumbing shop is about half a mile down that way. We have Courtney Fisher over there at the scene. That is where we believe 3 people were shot in this B Dependable Plumbing. It's a family-run business by a family that lives right here in Cleveland. We believe there were 3 people shot. At least 1 died, the woman who was working the front office. Now, we also tell you the other scene is actually about quarter mile down that way. That is where the shootout actually happened, where the Liberty County deputy engaged in gunfire and was shot in the neck area. That is where the suspect then took off. So up and down this road all morning, it's been pretty much shut down to regular traffic. What we've seen is law enforcement vehicles go back and forth as they sort of get tips and information about the whereabouts of the suspect. And right now, we're, of course, waiting to see if there's anything to the fact that they found the white marquee vehicle down the street from where we are. So that's what we're sort of in between these 3 scenes, all on the same road. Altogether, they're about 1.5 miles apart. This place just brimming with law enforcement as they try to kind of get a grips on exactly what is going on and hopefully locate the suspect before he causes any more damage. So that is the situation right now in Cleveland. Now back to you guys. Art and Mel?
All right, very good. Any information regarding what they have been able to find out of that vehicle, Maya?
Well, what they do know is that the vehicle was located, and you can see, in fact, more police and law enforcement sort of coming on to the vehicle. And there you see, I don't know if you can just see right behind me, some major SWAT vehicles coming in. And they would only say that they've located the vehicle. They do believe that is his vehicle. They did not know whether or not it was stolen or he owned it. They just knew he was last seen driving it when the shooting occurred. And now you see we're in Liberty County, but a lot of different law enforcement agencies, including DPS, and this is the Harris County major hostage negotiations team, and their vehicle just came onto the property. Now, this is a difficult situation because this is a rural road, guys. This is one way in, one way out. It is a dead end. It is property surrounded by horse barns and trailers and containers and small houses and livestock. So even getting law enforcement vehicle in and out of the street is a challenge. They had to bring in a couple of tow trucks to tow vehicles out of the way just to get this stuff in. So
Maya,
we are hoping, as we see the hostage situation negotiation team going in, that we'll get more information. Yes, Melanie.
Well, Maya, and it would seem to us, as we were sitting here talking off camera, it would almost indicate they believe he is in there if they're bringing in that kind of manpower and certainly what amounts to SWAT trucks and negotiation trucks. But you're not hearing any word yet whether or not he's inside that house or in that area?
Well, sure. So that would be the assumption, right? Given the amount of manpower we have seen coming in, I will say we were very close to the house where we can see it line of sight about 20 minutes ago. And at 20 minutes, they still had not breached the house. They did not know a little while ago whether or not he was in the scene. And then we've been forced to back up in the last 20 minutes. So we are not right up to where law enforcement is. So as soon as I get off get done reporting with you, we'll see if we can gather more information. At the time we were told to move back, law enforcement folks, the folks in flak jackets and holding large weapons in SWAT uniforms, said they personally did not know. They were just going to come here and see what they can find. Of course, with all of this, they take a lot of precaution. They make sure everything is set up before they go in so that no law enforcement folks are in any more danger, especially with 4 people already shot, including one just tragically one woman dead. So it's a situation. So they really want to be safe before they go in. So we'll try to get some more information and bring that to you when we know it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it really looks as though things are kind of bubbling up there, Maya. So if you can find out more information, get back to us, that would be great. But yeah, just really amazing the amount of manpower now being dedicated to that small road down the road there.
And that's clear enough that when they bring in the heavy equipment like that, they're setting up operations, and we're going to be here for some time. So, well, at least they will be. They'll be there for some time monitoring, and hopefully they have some idea of where this man might be, and they believe he's there.
Yeah, some kind of sighting. We want to go now to the original location, really where this tragedy all began. And as Maya indicated, it's about a half a mile away. This is the plumbing facility, and that's where our Courtney Fisher is right now. Now, Courtney, we're hearing such a sad story about how the woman in this case may have been killed and then just left to die.
That's right, Melanie. Right now, of course, we're consumed with the search for the suspects, getting the facts. But like you said, when you stop and think about what happened in this building, this plumbing business, we know that one woman was shot last night. In fact, one of the deputies told me when they got in there this morning, got a look at the scene, the woman's, it was clear that she had been shot and left there to die hours ago. Of course, we know the other two men were shot this morning, according to investigators. And this is really the start of the search area. In the last 30 minutes, Melanie, we were asked to move much further back. We were across the street, closer to that yellow police tape, and deputies just came over and told us point blank, this is a pretty scary situation. Those guys with huge guns drawn, going behind the business, searching that area where they believe the suspect lived. They think that he could really possibly be back there. And if he is back there, remember, he is dangerous. They think he might be armed. They wanted us to move away from the scene for our own safety. As one deputy put it, one trooper told me, if this guy has a gun, he's just going to start firing. That's been what they know has happened in the past when they deal with suspects like this. It is a very dangerous, very fluid situation. We know that now manpower is coming in from other counties. Two huge mobile crime units from Harris County just came down Highway 105. I tweeted a picture of them. They were likely headed closer to where Maya is. We have seen the search out here around the plumbing business calm down a little bit. We showed you live pictures of the drone, of the DPS helicopter, of horses and bloodhounds out here, and things have really scaled back a little bit. We believe that means they're focusing their search in other wooded areas. But I want to also reiterate what Maya said, how wooded it is back here. Guys, it is thick. We know that this suspect lives in a metal container behind this business. One investigator told me that he was recently evicted. That could be a possible motive. Of course, they're not ready to discuss that yet. But we know he lived in a metal container behind this business. You can't see back behind that tree line. It is thick. We got no look at that metal container, just seeing some personal possessions, possibly garbage. We have an RV to the right of that car park. So it is going to be difficult. If he is here somewhere hiding in this woods, it is much easier for him, likely, and much more difficult for these deputies who are searching. But they have plenty of people out here looking for him right now. If anything changes out here, of course, we will let you know. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Courtney, I know that you've been talking there to the deputies and that there must have been some kind of relationship since he lived on the property. Did they indicate whether or not they had been there before, perhaps because of altercations or anything like that?
I just talked to one deputy who was part of the team who allegedly served the suspect some eviction papers. I don't know how he received it. Obviously, no one wants to get kicked off of their property, but we know that the owners of that plumbing business owned, according to deputies, many acres out here. So owned likely the land that he lived on. We don't know if there was an altercation, if there was a fight, but we do know that he was in the process of being evicted. We are at an auto tire shop kind of situation across the way, and I talked to these people, some of the workers here at this place, and they say they recognize this guy, Pavol Vido. They recognize Vido. They said, he kind of kept to himself. They never saw any issue with him. I asked them to describe him. They couldn't really even do that. They say they just would see him drive in and out, that he's lived on this property for quite some time. Again, this is just according to workers out here. No official sound on that. But really no one can speak to who he is. And we guys are at the property, really the business closest to that plumbing property. Again, how rural it is out here. We don't see any houses. So just a couple of businesses here and there, a gas station, guys.
Well, I think that the officials certainly believe that he is still there in that general vicinity, because the vehicle was found not too far from you, just south of you. And of course, they have set up operations. They have an entire team out there, a lot of trucks. The operations has been set up right over there in the Cleveland area near Maya Shea. It's several minutes south of where Courtney Fisher is. But Courtney, one last question as we look at other video. We're looking at the operations center right now. You say that he was going to be evicted or was in the process of being evicted, so it sounds as though, and this is speculation, of course, at this point, because the officers have said nothing of this, but that financially he wasn't doing well if he's going to be evicted.
Yeah, and we don't know that situation. All I know is that he lived in a metal container. They kept telling me that over and over. A metal container behind this business. We don't know if he was renting it, if he was just renting the land. There is a lot of stuff out there. You know, those are his possessions. It looks a little messy. Investigators don't know, you know, if things were getting out of hand, if there was a broken down relationship. But workers at other businesses tell me that this suspect did live on that property for quite some time. We're talking more than 10 years. So obviously so much more to come out from investigators. But you do wonder what happened, what led to this, of course.
Right. Yeah, Courtney, as Art mentioned just a moment ago, we're also watching live pictures, lots and lots of law enforcement vehicles going to the location where his car was found. Does that mean that at your location you're seeing a lot of people leave, or are they continuing to investigate there as well?
Yeah, you know, we have seen a few leave, but the core investigators, the core people who were here from the beginning, they haven't moved because I think they are deep in the woods. There's still evidence to be collected. We know that there is still a lot of evidence in this crime scene. The medical examiner has not shown up. So the people who are here continue to protect this space, protect this crime scene, and any possible evidence that they may need to gather. Every once in a while, guys, we see an SUV or a trooper's car just fly down Highway 105, and we can expect, of course, they are going to Maya's scene, which is about a mile and a half. I don't know if you guys can hear, but the DPS helicopter now sounds like it is back up in the air. That was circling for quite some time. It has stayed pretty low to the tree line, which is kind of interesting to watch it hover. I don't know if we can get a shot of it. It looks like it might have refueled, and it is now back up in the air, but coming to our area, again, headed it might be headed right for where Maya is, down Highway 105 to where that car was found, guys.
And we should also mention that that vet clinic is fairly close to you. So as Maya said, all of this taking place within, less than a couple of miles of each other. And as far as you know, that location is kind of broken down since everybody there has been taken away.
It sounds like it. I haven't heard from Steve Campion. I know he was out there kind of being the go-between for that press release, the sheriff talking and DPS updating there as well. So it doesn't sound like that is still a scene. Obviously, we know that the trooper was flown to the hospital and he's expected to be okay. I believe right now the concentration is on finding this guy and the search for him.
Wow, such a sad situation.
It really is. And our hearts go out to the family of that poor woman who was just an innocent victim there, and that's as a secretarial role in that plumbing company. What a sad situation. Tragic indeed in so many ways. Thank you, Courtney.
Courtney, just before we let you go, and please forgive me if you've already said this, do I understand that after he shot that woman and left her to die, that he then lay in wait for the next couple of people to come in, that he actually sort of, wanted to ambush them first thing this morning?
A detail that definitely sounds chilling, Melanie. We know that she was shot last night. We don't know what time, but those were the words that investigators gave me immediately when we arrived on scene, that he waited for the next people to walk through that door. And we don't know if he went to his home, that metal container behind the business, or he waited in the business. Scary either way. This is according to investigators very early on. Their story, by the way, has not changed. They were here, they collected that information, and we know that this suspect, Vido, this 65-year-old man, waited somehow on the property for his next two victims, allegedly. And they were shot this morning, hours after that woman was killed.
Well, he is cold and calculated, and there's no question that, as police say, he is armed and dangerous. Do not mess with this guy. We've shown his picture, and we cannot show it enough. Thank you, Courtney. We appreciate that report. Again, continuing live coverage on ABC13.com. We're going to be closing up here now, but what a scene we have there just north of Houston, about 45 minutes.
In fact, before we go, we're going to ask the folks in the director's booth. Yes, there we go. Once again, that live shot. This is from the location where Maya Shea is, where they discovered his car, a Grand Marquis, a 2004. And as you can see, the numbers of law enforcement officials continue to swell out there. You've got a number of vehicles there. We've seen 2 or 3 major SWAT trucks go in as well, so giving us at least a little bit of an assumption that perhaps they believe he is in this area right now.
We will have much more right here on TV at ABC13.com, as well as on television, on Eyewitness News at 3 o'clock, 4, 5, and 6. We will cover it all for you and as well bring you any breaking developments.
And we will also ask you, if you can, to share his picture. Share his picture. He is believed to be out there, armed and extremely dangerous. So it is on our website, ABC13.com, on all of our platforms. There you go. Once again, 65 years old. That is presumably what he looks like now, and that is the man they are looking for. We'll see you later this afternoon, but we are always on all your platforms, just a phone away.